Hello guys, you're watching Go Doctor Who, and today we're doing the Sontaran episodes, this second episode of Doctor Who Flux. We've talked about the first one, Halloween Apocalypse, so check that out on the channel if you haven't already, but let's get on to today's one. Also, we're trying to get to 600 subscribers. We are 20 away. Can you help us get there? Let's go. So this episode, I've only watched it once. I am going to watch it again because it makes me want to. For the first time in Jodie Whittaker's era, it feels like I want to rewatch this. And that is a good sign indeed. I haven't really rewatched Series 11 that much at all. And I haven't really rewatched Series 12 that much at all. Probably only 3 episodes that I've wanted to watch again. This, I've watched twice of the Apocalypse. I'm going to watch this again tonight as well. So that's good. It shows that I enjoyed it. So there you go. I've enjoyed this episode. I like that they kind of get, Yaz and Dan kind of get separated from the Doctor. It gives time. It gives us areas to work with. And of course Dan gets sent home. Now that he has officially been, we know about him, we've learnt about him, he can kind of do that present day stuff. And we get a glimpse of his parents. However, I did think it was a bit odd that his parents actually just went, all right, you can go and fight the Sontarans on your own. I think the parents should have gone with them, but I really liked their dynamic, and that was quite fun. And Dan's parents saved the day, and they filled us in on some information of present day stuff. And then Dan's going off trying to get onto a Sontaran ship. I felt it was a bit too easy to get into. However, we did see executions take place, showing the menacing side of the Sontarans from the future. And of course, like the football stadium being taken by Sontarans and stuff, it's shown the difference of the world that we know is completely changed since we last met up with it, you know? That stuff I kind of liked. And then Dan getting saved by his dog, Carvanista, of course. And I love the past and future connection so he could talk to the Doctor. So that stuff in the present day I liked. Let's get onto Yaz's stuff. Probably the weakest part of the episode, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this stuff I really didn't care about that much. There was these like diamond things flying through. Can you help us? Can you fix this? And then they get Vinish, I've forgotten his name, Vinda. They get Vinda, and we kind of learn a little about Vinda now. We've got that basically he did something wrong. He was exiled. He was kind of marooned, and he did some stuff. So he is not a part of his tribe or wherever he's working for. He is not exactly looked upon. He's frowned upon in a way. Interesting. Subtle information about his character. We don't know who he is yet. We'll probably know in episode 3. That stuff I liked. Yaz, she didn't have a lot to do, but I'm kind of glad they pulled her away from the situation. She could have just following the Doctor like a lost sheep, but they pulled her away. She got sent there, and it was explained of why they were getting sent as well, because of the TARDIS and stuff like that. But yeah, her and Vinda's trying to fix this thing. Then our main threats arrive. The Ravengers, are they called? Anyway, they arrive. They basically have done something to Vinda and Yaz, and cliffhanger time, we're going to do that. So that's their story. The weakest of the part of the story, in my opinion. We also got Liverpool guy from the past. He was in an episode, so he was there. He was like, oh, no, don't follow me, no. This is weird. I'm going to go now. You're just like, wait, what? What is his character? Seriously? But let's get on to the most important part now, the Doctor. So let's get into a little bit of information. The TARDIS is changing, messing up. I like it, I really do. And the reason why it is that, it's been told in the episode. We finally know why the TARDIS is like this, because time is messed up. Time is destroyed, and a TARDIS can't cope with that sort of thing. So it's kind of destroying itself, but trying to work at the same time. I like that Doctor tries to get back to save Yaz and Dan, but she can't because there's no door. So she's stuck with the Sontarans to deal with, and she has to do that. And we learn about this historic character. And I really like her. She's really brilliant. We learn about her as well, who she is. You know, yes, she's thrown into an alien situation, but we learn what her character would be anyway without that. And her and the Doctor gel quite nicely. We also have Dan Starkey back as a Sontaran, and the Sontarans killing their own kind. I love it when a villain's just like, you messed up here. We're gonna kill you. It doesn't matter if you're your own kind, because it just shows if they're willing to kill their own kind, they're definitely gonna kill the humans, and they slaughter. We get to see humans versus in this war that's meant to happen, and Sontarans are using time travel to their advantage. That is brilliant. I think this was better than episode 1 in my opinion. Yeah, like I love the massive fights we got. We didn't get too much of it because Doctor Who budget, you know, but we got this fight. We got to see certain scenarios, and the commander basically dismissing the Doctor and then throwing off. Sometimes kind of being shocked that the Doctor's a woman, but not saying it. That's what the vibe I got as well. They're like, wait, what? You're the Doctor? I like that because they're typical creatures, aren't they? They would do that sort of thing and just be simplified by that. And then also Dan also fighting with his wok, in his comedic stuff. I loved with Carbonista. Yet again, their chemistry is so good, and Dan. Oh, he's like making cringy jokes and getting attacked by Cybermen. It's cool. But yeah, the Doctor, of course, having to work through this, try and get to Dan and Yaz, but also sort out the Sontarans. We learn a bit more about Sontarans I don't think we have learnt before. We also got a nod to a past Sontaran, I do believe. I think it was a reference to the Fourth Doctor's episode where it was Sarah Jane's first episode. I think it was that episode that got a nod to that first Sontaran, because I swear one of the Sontarans referenced that. So I like that. That was cool. And if you don't know who that is, it just goes past your head, really. But yeah, I got the reference and I liked it. We learnt a bit about Sontarans with their vents and why actually their suits actually it helps them breathe in human and Earth and stuff like that, you know. And I like the Sontarans taking over history from future and past and present and stuff. And the battleground that they're using at the moment is kind of like a test drive to see how they can use that, so they can use it for Sontar and build upon this world for their armies and troops, so they can go off against some bigger villains to fight in a battle or something like that. That was cool. Yeah, I liked it. Obviously, the troop guy who lost all his men to the Sontarans, he felt a bit annoyed, so he went and basically blew up the Sontaran ships when the Doctor used this to her advantage, and then he used it to his advantage and changed a few things and blew it up, set a match, and she didn't like that, of course. But anyway, she left them because she hasn't got time to say goodbye properly. She needs to get to Dan and Yaz, and we find the cliffhanger. What that villain does to Dan and it does to Yaz and Vinda. And that's really the episode. And I'm going to say my favourite parts of this story has got to be the Doctor and the past and Dan's stuff. The weakest is Yaz's stuff because we didn't really get much from it. We're going to get more next episode, of course. But yeah, I like that things are coming together quite nicely. There's sometimes whilst the dogs from space were protecting and doing some Guardians of the Galaxy stuff to protect the Earth, sometimes snuck from the back and use it to their advantage, and this is why this episode takes place. They are using that stuff to their advantage. Typical Sontarans. The Doctor is really good in this episode as well. Jodie Whittaker's performance is incredible. So yeah, the villain, the main bad guy, doing I'm going to snap and see how long Yaz can withhold time or whatever. I didn't care. I didn't. I'm sorry. That was not a cliffhanger. You know, everyone was like, oh, the cliffhangers are good in this series. Episode 1 was good. What happened in the TARDIS? There was like some black and white stuff from the beginning of the episode. We got this weird house. That's something to note. This weird house. I'm very intrigued to see what the hell that was. But yeah, that's my thoughts and opinions. Obviously, we've got Cybermen next week. And we've got some interesting other stuff. And Weeping Angels, a glimpse of Weeping Angels. So obviously, they might be the cliffhanger for next week, so we can lead into episode 4 with the actual Weeping Angel episode. So we've got some stuff to deal with. I'm excited, so join me next week for my review of that. Would I give this ranking out of 10? Out of 10, I'm going to change my ranking from episode 1 because I did give it a 9 out of 10, which I feel was a bit too... now I've rewatched it and I feel like this one's better. I need to give it some real room to work with here. So I am dropping this massively to an 8 out of 10. And I'm going to give this episode an 8.5 out of 10. That's my score at the moment. So episode 1 gets an 8 out of 10. This episode gets an 8.5 out of 10. And I'm not that looking forward to next week, I'm not going to lie. So then really need to pull it out of the bag. I think we're going to learn more about the Doctor's past. She's facing the villain face to face now instead of some like mind crap. So I think we're going to learn a lot more about the Doctor's past in next week's episode. And I think that's what's going to draw me through, and I'm going to be excited again. But this episode was decent. That's my thoughts and opinions. Let me know yours down below. Let's discuss. Subscribe, because we're 20 subscribers away from our channel goal now. Come on, 20 of you. Join the journey, and we will continue reviewing Series 13, so stay tuned for that. As always, I'll see you guys in another video soon. Have a nice day.